What if I told you that the most powerful fat-burning window of your entire day doesn't happen at the gym, doesn't require a single piece of equipment, and is completely free, and it starts the moment you step outside your front door in the morning? Most people wake up, scroll their phones, pour a cup of coffee, and rush into the chaos of their day without ever realizing they just missed the single most important metabolic opportunity their body will offer them in the next 24 hours. And the wild part, you don't need an hour. You don't need to push yourself to exhaustion. You don't need a trainer, a plan, or a gym membership. You need 15 minutes. That's it. But here's what nobody tells you: those 15 minutes don't just burn fat while you're walking. The biological chain reaction that gets triggered during a short morning walk continues working inside your body for 6 to 8 hours after you've come back home, made your breakfast, and sat down at your desk. That's not a motivational claim. That's documented science. And once you understand exactly what is happening beneath the surface of your skin during those early morning minutes, you will never look at a simple walk the same way again. Let's start at the very beginning with what your body actually looks like on the inside the moment your alarm goes off. When you wake up in the morning, your body has been in a fasting state for anywhere between 8 and 12 hours. You haven't eaten since the night before, which means the fast-burning carbohydrate energy your muscles normally reach for first stored in your body as glycogen is running low. Think of glycogen like the cash in your wallet. It's easy to access, it spends quickly, and your body always prefers to use it first. But when the wallet is nearly empty, your body has to go to the bank. And that bank, the deep reserve of stored energy your body has been holding onto, is your body fat. This is the state your body is in every single morning, and most people have no idea it exists. When you step outside for a walk in this semi-fasted condition, something remarkable happens. Because your muscles can't immediately access large amounts of glucose, your body is forced to turn to fat stores for fuel much earlier than it normally would. Instead of spending 20 to 30 minutes burning through carbohydrate energy before even touching fat, you start burning fat almost immediately. And that distinction matters more than most people realize. Now, some people hear the word fasted and immediately feel nervous. They imagine feeling dizzy, weak, or lightheaded. But for the vast majority of healthy adults, a light to moderate morning walk before breakfast is not only safe, it's actually one of the gentlest, most effective fat-burning strategies that exists. Of course, if you have diabetes, blood sugar regulation issues, or take certain medications, it's always wise to check with your doctor first. But for most people, this is the golden window they've been unknowingly skipping every single day. Here's where the science gets genuinely fascinating. Your body isn't just operating on a fuel preference in the morning, it's operating on a hormonal cocktail that is specifically designed for fat mobilization. Cortisol, a hormone that most people only associate with stress, naturally peaks in the early morning hours as part of your body's built-in daily cycle. This isn't the harmful chronic cortisol that comes from ongoing stress and anxiety. This is your body's natural morning alarm signal, and one of its key functions is to break down stored fat and release it into your bloodstream as usable energy. At the same time, your body also has elevated levels of epinephrine, what most people know as adrenaline. When cortisol and epinephrine are working together in the morning, they act like a key and a lock for your fat cells. They literally open the door to your stored fat, releasing fatty acids into your blood so your muscles can burn them as fuel. When you go for a walk during this precise hormonal window, you're not working against your biology. You're working with it. You're stepping into a metabolic current that is already flowing in the direction of fat burning, and all you have to do is move. Now let's talk about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention. What happens after the walk is over? Most people assume that exercise only burns fat while you're actively doing it. You walk, you burn some calories, you stop, the burning stops. That's the way most people think about it. And that thinking is exactly why most people are frustrated with their results. The reality is very different. When you exercise even at a moderate intensity like a brisk morning walk, your body goes into what exercise scientists call excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. It sounds complicated, but the concept is beautifully simple. After you stop walking, your body doesn't immediately return to its resting state. It takes time. And during that return journey, your metabolism stays elevated. Your body temperature is still slightly higher than normal. Your cells are still consuming oxygen at an increased rate. Your hormones are still in motion. All of that activity costs energy, and that energy comes from fat. Studies have shown that a 15-minute morning walk can keep your metabolism elevated for up to 6 to 8 hours afterward. So while you're sitting at your desk, driving to an appointment, eating lunch, or having a conversation, your body is still quietly burning more fat than it would have if you'd stayed in bed. That extra calorie burn may not sound dramatic in a single day, but over weeks and months, it compounds into something genuinely transformative. And that's just one layer of what's happening. Let's talk about insulin, because this is where morning walking becomes less about exercise and more about fundamentally changing the way your body manages energy all day long. Insulin is the hormone your body releases every time your blood sugar rises, which happens whenever you eat, especially carbohydrates. In a healthy body, insulin efficiently shuffles glucose from your blood into your cells to be used for energy. But here's the critical thing most people don't know. When insulin is elevated, fat burning is turned off. Insulin is a storage hormone. Its job is to tell your body to hold on to energy, not release it. So as long as your insulin levels are high, your body is biologically prevented from accessing its fat stores. Now here's the connection that changes everything. When you exercise in the morning, your muscles become significantly more sensitive to insulin throughout the day. What that means in plain language is this: your body can manage the same amount of blood sugar with a much smaller insulin response. Lower insulin spikes mean lower average insulin levels throughout the day. And lower insulin levels throughout the day mean your body spends far more time in a fat-burning state and far less time in a fat storage state. You didn't change what you ate. You didn't go on a diet. You didn't count a single calorie. You just walked for 15 minutes in the morning and your body's entire metabolic environment shifted in favor of burning fat rather than storing it. That is a powerful statement, and it's backed by research. For people over the age of 50, this insulin sensitizing effect is especially significant. As we get older, our bodies naturally become less efficient at managing blood sugar. The cells become slightly resistant to insulin signals, which means the body compensates by producing more insulin. More insulin means more fat storage, particularly around the abdomen, that stubborn belly fat that seems to appear out of nowhere and refuses to budge no matter what you try. This is not a failure of willpower. It's a biological shift, and morning walking directly addresses it. Studies specifically involving older adults who added just 15 minutes of morning walking to their daily routine showed measurable reductions in waist circumference, lower visceral fat levels, and significant improvements in metabolic markers, all within 8 to 12 weeks. No changes to diet, no other exercise added, just 15 minutes of morning movement, consistently applied. That result is not an exaggeration. That is what research has actually found. And if you've been struggling with stubborn abdominal fat and feeling like your body just doesn't respond the way it used to, this is the piece of information that could genuinely change your approach. Speaking of visceral fat, let's take a moment to understand why belly fat is so uniquely responsive to morning exercise specifically. Visceral fat is the type of fat that sits deep inside your abdominal cavity, wrapping around your organs. Unlike the fat you can pinch under your skin, visceral fat is metabolically active in a dangerous way. It pumps inflammatory chemicals into your bloodstream, disrupts hormone signaling, and is strongly associated with heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even cognitive decline. But here's the interesting biological twist. Visceral fat is actually quite responsive to the hormones released during exercise. It contains a high density of beta-adrenergic receptors, specialized molecular docking sites that respond to epinephrine and norepinephrine. When those hormones are circulating in your blood, which they naturally are in higher concentrations in the morning, the visceral fat cells essentially receive a signal to open up and release their stored fatty acids into the bloodstream. Your muscles then pick up those fatty acids and burn them for energy during your walk and in the hours that follow. Morning exercise, therefore, doesn't just burn general body fat. It specifically targets the most dangerous fat in your body during the time of day when your hormonal environment is most primed to release it. The timing isn't incidental. It's the entire point. Now, let's talk about something that operates silently in the background of everything we've discussed so far: your mitochondria. Mitochondria are the tiny structures inside your muscle cells responsible for converting fat and oxygen into usable energy. They are, quite literally, the engines of fat burning in your body. And here's something remarkable about them. The more regularly you exercise, even at a moderate intensity, the more mitochondria your body builds inside your muscle cells. More mitochondria means greater fat-burning capacity not just during exercise, but at rest, during everyday movement, while you're doing dishes, going upstairs, walking to your car. A body that has adapted to regular morning walks is a body that is more efficient at burning fat all day long, even when you're not trying. This is why the people who walk consistently for months don't just maintain their results. They often find that fat loss accelerates over time, even when nothing else in their routine changes. Their bodies have been quietly upgrading themselves from the inside. There's another dimension to morning walking that rarely gets discussed in the context of weight loss, and that's its effect on your thyroid. Your thyroid gland controls your basal metabolic rate, essentially the speed at which your body burns calories while at rest. A sluggish thyroid means slower metabolism, more difficulty losing weight, persistent fatigue, and a body that feels like it's working against you. Regular morning movement has been shown to support healthy thyroid hormone production and, critically, the conversion of the inactive thyroid hormone T4 into the metabolically active T3. T3 is the form of thyroid hormone that actually speeds up your metabolism. When your body converts T4 to T3 efficiently, your metabolic rate stays elevated throughout the day, not just during exercise. By supporting healthy thyroid function through consistent morning walks, you are quietly raising the baseline speed at which your body burns energy every hour of every day. And then there's sleep. This is the connection most people completely miss when thinking about morning walks and fat loss, but it might be one of the most important of all. When you go outside in the morning and expose your eyes to natural daylight, you trigger a signal in your brain that helps set your circadian rhythm, your body's master biological clock. This clock governs everything. When your hormones are released, when your digestive system is most active, when your body temperature peaks and falls, and perhaps most critically for fat loss, when you fall asleep, and how deeply you sleep. People who walk in the morning tend to fall asleep faster at night, experience more time in deep restorative sleep stages, and wake up feeling genuinely rested. And quality sleep is one of the most powerful and underappreciated fat loss tools that exists. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, the primary repair and regeneration hormone that also plays a central role in breaking down body fat. It processes and clears the cortisol and stress hormones that accumulated during the day. It regulates leptin and ghrelin, the two hormones responsible for hunger and appetite signals. When sleep is disrupted or insufficient, ghrelin goes up, telling you to eat more. Leptin goes down, failing to signal fullness. The result is increased hunger, stronger cravings for high-calorie foods, and reduced fat burning even if you're eating the same amount and exercising just as much. A 15-minute morning walk doesn't just burn fat during the walk. It creates better sleep that night, and that better sleep promotes more fat burning the following day. It's a cycle that reinforces itself, gradually building momentum in the direction of a leaner, more energetic body. Now, let's talk about what this all does to your relationship with food throughout the day, because this piece of the puzzle is just as important as the biology. Research consistently shows that people who exercise in the morning tend to eat less at subsequent meals throughout the day, not because they're forcing themselves to, but because morning exercise genuinely reduces appetite and shifts food preferences. The hunger hormone ghrelin is suppressed after aerobic exercise, and studies show that morning exercisers naturally gravitate toward more nutritious food choices without even consciously deciding to. Think about what that means. You walk for 15 minutes, your body burns fat during the walk, your metabolism stays elevated for hours afterward, your insulin sensitivity improves so your body stores less of what you eat. You naturally eat a little less and choose slightly better foods, and you sleep more deeply that night, which further supports fat burning the following day. None of those things require willpower. None of them require restriction or discipline or white-knuckling your way through hunger. They are biological consequences of one simple 15-minute habit, cascading forward through your entire day. That is the real power of morning walking. Not the calories burned during the walk itself, though those matter, but the entire downstream metabolic and hormonal shift that follows. Let's be real about something else, too. One of the biggest reasons people fail at exercise programs is not lack of motivation. It's not laziness. It's that the programs they choose are too hard, too time-consuming, too painful, or too intimidating to actually sustain over the long term. High-intensity workouts, complicated gym routines, early morning boot camps, they may produce results in the short term, But most people can't keep them up for months and years without burning out, getting injured, or simply losing the will to continue. Walking has none of those barriers. Your knees can handle it. Your schedule can handle it. Your energy levels on your worst day can handle it. It requires no learning curve, no equipment, no expensive membership, and no recovery day. You can do it whether you're 25 or 75, whether you're a lifelong athlete or someone who hasn't exercised in decades. And that accessibility matters enormously because the very best exercise program in the world is the one you will actually do consistently. Not the one that looks the most impressive, not the one that burns the most calories in a single session. The one you will actually show up for day after day, week after week, month after month. That consistency is where real transformation lives. Let's close with an honest expectation, because you deserve the truth rather than empty promises. You are not going to lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks from morning walks. Anyone who tells you otherwise is selling you something. What you will experience if you commit to 15 minutes every morning is a gradual but genuine and sustainable transformation. Over the course of 6 months to a year, 20 to 30 pounds of fat loss is absolutely realistic without extreme dieting or punishing workouts. Your cardiovascular health will improve. Your blood sugar regulation will improve. Your sleep will improve. Your mood will improve. Your energy levels will improve. Your relationship with food will likely improve without you even trying. And here's the thing about gradual change: it tends to stick. The people who lose weight slowly and sustainably through lifestyle habits like morning walking are far less likely to regain it, compared to people who lose weight quickly through restrictive diets or extreme exercise programs. Slow progress is not a failure. It is the only kind of progress that lasts. Your body was built to move in the morning. For the vast majority of human history, people woke up with the sun and became physically active as daylight arrived. They walked to find food. They moved through the early hours before the heat of the day settled in. Their fat stores were regularly tapped, their insulin stayed low, their metabolism stayed robust, and their sleep was deep and restorative. Modern life has stolen all of that from us. We wake up to artificial light, sit in cars, sit at desks, sit on couches, and wonder why our bodies feel sluggish, stubborn, and stuck. 15 minutes in the morning is not a dramatic lifestyle overhaul. It is simply a quiet act of returning to what your biology was designed for. It costs you nothing but a small slice of your morning. And what it gives back, measured in energy, in health, in years, in the way your clothes fit, and the way your body feels, is genuinely extraordinary. Step outside tomorrow morning. Walk for 15 minutes. Let your body do the rest.